Good morning, everyone. I want you to imagine a future. You're lying sick in the hospital and find out that an algorithm has decided that you will not receive the surgery that can save your life. Now think of a talented student named Alex. Despite doing everything right and excelling in school, she learns that an algorithm has denied her admission to the college of her dreams with no further explanation as to why. These are not just random examples. These are glimpses of a dystopian future unless we pay attention, because we're standing on the edge of innovation and isolation, a fine line where technology can either connect or divide us, because algorithms are not just lines of code. Algorithms are gatekeepers, shaping our lives and our societies. And as we stand on the brink of a future molded by machine learning and artificial intelligence, we need to ask ourselves the question: who writes the rules? Who benefits from them? And most importantly, who gets left out? Today, I want you to understand why diversity in technology is not only important, but essential for an equitable future. In 2012, I remember walking around the busy streets of New York as I was studying for my master's in media management. I remember how the city felt like a beacon of progress and innovation. I fell in love with the seemingly endless path of opportunity that technology offered. But as I got involved in various tech conferences and events, a growing sense of urgency emerged. Because more often than not, I was the only woman present. And my attempts to discuss technology were often sidelined by questions such as, "Are you lost? Can you get me coffee?" Or my personal favorite, "Are you here on a bad date?" These episodes and many more is how I learned that the technology industry lacks diversity. Try searching for IT nerd on Google. Now, I don't know about you, but diversity is not exactly what comes to mind when I look at this screenshot. While the exact ratio varies from country to country, there is one common denominator, and that is that women are starkly underrepresented in technology, in its development, in product, and in leadership. And as a result, girls lack role models in technology. And the saying way too often rings true: you cannot be what you cannot see. Research from Microsoft finds that if a girl has a role model in STEM, she's 60% more likely to be interested in technology or a career in the field than girls without role models. As exponential technology increasingly becomes the foundation of our world order, the imperative grows exponentially for more representation and inclusion in its development. Because in a world that's increasingly global and technological and driven by algorithms trained on our historical human data, diversity is critical if we want to avoid cementing a world already ridden with injustice. Because the world as we know it is not a fair place. Bias influences our decisions, and while bias has always influenced human behavior, the stakes are so much higher as our biases are inherited by our technology. Consider a hiring scenario in a company. Imagine that a few managers looking at various different applicants are consistently discriminating against Black candidates. Now, fast forward a couple of years, this company has replaced all of their hiring practice with an AI recruitment tool. This tool was trained on the company's data, including the data from the managers that we know discriminate. The AI, now replacing the decisions once made by a few managers, is now potentially practicing bias towards every Black applicant, affecting potentially hundreds or even thousands for years to come. And this is not just a what-if scenario. In fact, a few years ago, Amazon developed an AI recruitment tool. The tool was trained on data dominated by male hires and quickly started to favor male candidates. Luckily, Amazon quickly discovered that it was systematically excluding women because they weren't represented in the dataset. And to make matters worse, because the industry at large doesn't really understand how these algorithms work or how they get to the results that they do, we may not even be aware of the fact that we're discriminating. Did you know that Black patients are prescribed less pain medication than white patients with the same complaints? Or that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women? In other words, using our healthcare data to train AI is risky because the data discriminates. A recent US study looked at over 50,000 patient journals and found that an algorithm used in the healthcare system was systematically favoring white patients over Black patients. This algorithm was used to help guide health decisions for 70 million patients and was there to identify which patients would need more help. The researchers found that the number of Black patients that received extra help was reduced from 50% to less than 20%. This increased their likelihood of emergency room visits or hospital stays. This algorithm was trained on data about healthcare spending and using that as a predictor to see what kind of healthcare needs they think their patients would have. But since Black patients tended to spend less on healthcare due to socioeconomic challenges, the algorithm gave them an unfair low score. Let this be a testament to the fact that we need to eliminate bias from our data before training AI on it. While bias like this is common in tech, so are stereotypes. How many in here have tried the new AI tools that lets you generate different images? A couple of you. Good. Well, I love to use it. In fact, almost every image in this presentation has been generated by AI. And that's also how I learned how ridden it is with stereotypes. When I asked for images of bosses or CEOs, I got a bunch of men. When I asked for secretaries, a string of women showed up. When I asked for a hero, I got a man. But when I asked for an attractive hero, of course I got lots of sexy women. And beyond images, stereotypes are also present in our everyday language. Kjæreste is a gender-neutral word in Norwegian, yet when translated using Google Translate, it automatically assigns gender roles to women and men. The boyfriend is the boss, the girlfriend is cute. The boyfriend is a doctor, the girlfriend is a nurse. The boyfriend sits on the board, the girlfriend works at the reception. While some biases are invisible, some biases show up right in our face. Pun intended. Here, an Asian MIT student asked an AI to create a more professional-looking photo for her CV. And this is what the AI returned. Her photo with whiter skin, rounder eyes, blue eyes. Again, the AI is a mirror of our discriminating practices in the workplace. A study shows that one of the widely used datasets to train facial recognition algorithms consists of 75% men, 80% white people. A researcher at MIT found that image recognition software at the world's biggest technology companies is 99% likely to accurately identify a white man, but the error rate soars to 35% when identifying a Black woman. This can have very harmful consequences. In fact, a 2019 study found that some of these systems are more than 100 times likely to confuse two non-white people. And it does have consequences, because about a year ago, a Black pregnant woman was arrested in front of her 2 kids as she was getting them ready for school. She was arrested because an image recognition software had identified her as a suspect of robbery and carjacking. Despite being 8 months pregnant, she was detained for 11 hours before they realized that they'd made a mistake. Consider these kinds of failures in the future, and imagine how they'll scale as we hand over more and more of our decisions into the hands of AI. This realization fueled my passion to increase diversity in tech, to ensure that the future we build is a future that benefits everyone. So when I moved back to Norway in 2015, I co-founded TENK, a technology network for women aimed at inspiring young girls to choose technology. And during my experiences with these girls, I've learned that girls as early as the age of 10 are subconsciously discouraged to explore technology. They receive messages, both subtle and direct, that this is an industry that doesn't really want them, even before they've had a chance to engage with it firsthand. People would often tell me, girls are just not that into tech. It's a boys' thing. Why force it on them? Yes, tech is dominated by men today, but that hasn't always been true. In fact, some of the first pioneers programming computers were women. And for decades, the number of women studying computer science was growing faster than the number of men. But something happened around 1984. The percentage started dropping. And it started dropping around the same time as personal computers arrived in US homes. These computers were marketed almost entirely to boys as toys for playing computer games. Families tended to buy computers for their boys, not for their girls, even if they were interested in technology. And when these kids later arrived at college, girls were at a disadvantage because they didn't have that same experience working with computers. At the same time, you had the pop culture industry, science movies working to really strengthen that narrative that tech, that's for geeky white boys. TENK wants to rewrite the narrative. Led by an incredible team of dedicated female volunteers in the industry, we've empowered thousands of girls nationwide to explore the world of technology. We provide role models, resources, and real-world opportunities for them to see themselves not only as users, but as innovators and creators of technology. Sorry. Oh, and the special invitation to you. If you're between the ages of 13 and 18, we invite you to join us at one of our free technology camps in August, held all over Norway. Explore technology, learn new skills, and be part of a community that's eager to shape the future with their own hands. Remember that yesterday's leaders created the problems we're facing today. You guys are all here on a Saturday morning, and that gives me an indication that you are the creators of tomorrow's solutions. You're here to learn about the future. The future is being written in code as we speak. Alan Kay once said that the best way to predict the future is to invent it. I hope you invent a future that benefits everyone. Thank you.